Guru Mahapurusha Samshraya, your life transforms. Let us take it. The moment the Guru comes into your life, you have made it in this Janma. So we are blessed to have Swami Dayananda Saraswati in our lives. Today is Adi Shankara's Jayanti, Shankara Jayanti. So I shall be chanting an Ashtakam called Totakashtakam. Totakacharya was a student of Adi Shankara. It is said that he did not show great amount of scholarship in Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. He was more of a ashram maintenance Swami. So one day when Adi Shankara was starting his session, and when all the students were ready, he said, let Totaka also come. People giggled, He said, Totaka, what's he going to do here? Then he said, you just wait. Then Totaka came singing this. He is singing the glory of Adi Shankara. It just spontaneously came out of him. We will sing this Totakashtakam. And at this point of time, I'm personally grateful to what Swami Dayananda Saraswati has done for my this Janma. By a mere touch, he transforms. He continues to transform all of us here. Everyone here is a jnani. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So let there not be any samshaya. You are not just a seeker, you are an uttama adhikari. You are higher level seeker. So I'll chant this. Totakashtakam. Vidita khila shastra sudha jalade Mahitopanishad katitartha nidhe Hridaye kalaye vimalam charanam Bhavashankara deshikame sharanam Karuna varunalaya palaya ma Bhavasagara dukha viduna hridam Rachaya khila darshana tatva vidam Bhavashankara deshikame sharanam Bhavata janata suhita bhavita Nijabodha vicharana charumate Kalayeshwara jiva viveka vidam Bhavashankara deshikame sharanam Bhava eva bhavaniti me nitaram Samajayata chetasi kautukita Mama varaya moha mahajaladim Bhavashankara deshikame sharanam Sukrite dhikrite bahuda bhavato Bhavita samadarshana lalasata Atidina mimam paripalaya mam Bhavashankara deshikame sharanam Jagati vamitum kalita kritayo vicharanti mahamahasa chalata ahimam shurivatra vibhasi guru Bhavashankara deshikame sharanam Guru pungava ketanate Samatamayatam nahi kopi sudhi Sharanagatavat salatattvanidhe Bhavashankara deshikame sharanam Viditana maya vishadaika kala Nacha kinchana kanchana masti guru Dhritameva videhi Kripam sahajam Bhavashankara deshikame sharanam भव शंकर देशिक में शरण, भव शंकर देशिक में शरणम. One day we'll see the meaning. Ishvara Anugraha, we'll see the meaning. Just says, Vidita Akhila Shastra Sudha Jalade is a reservoir of Akhila Shastra. And he is all the Upanishads. Katitartha, he has explained it in much detail. And Hridaye Kalaye Vimalam Charanam. So much of compassion for all us seekers. Bhava Shankara Deshika Mesharam. Shankara was brought us all this. Now we'll chant Dakshinam. Whenever we chant Vidita Khila Shastra Sudha Jalade, I've seen it happen in very many places. Students become very emotional. When we realize what the Guru has done for us, you can't but help becoming emotional when you talk about it. We'll do a special session sometime in August when we do Swami Dayanandaji's Aradhana. We'll do it on by. Let's be grateful, fortunate enough for the fortune that we have. Mauna Vyakhya Prakadita Para Brahma Tattvam Yuvanam Varsishtante Vasadrishiganaihi Avritam Brahmanishthaihi Acharindram Karakalita Chitmudram Anandarupam Swatma Ramam Mudita Vadanam Dakshina Murti Mele Patavitapi Samipe Bhumi Bhage Nishannam Sakala Munijanana Jnana Datara Marat Tribhuvana Guru Mesham Dakshina Murti Devam Janana Marana Dukkha Cheda Daksham Namami Chitram Bhattataror Mule Vriddha Sishya Guru Yuva Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam Shishyastu Chinna Samshaya Nidhaye Sarva Vidhyanam Vishaje Bhavarogina Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Nama Pranavarthaya Shuddhagyanaika Murtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. We'll do Dashtika proper. Vishwam Darpana Dishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahiribo Bhutayatha Nidraya Yes Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Svatmanameva Dvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye Bijasyantarivānkuro Jagaditam Prang Nirvikalpam Punaha Maya Kalpita Deshakala Kalana Vaichitri Chitri Kritam Maya Viva Vijrimbayatyapi Maha Yogi Vayasvechaya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye Yasyaiva Swaranam Sadatmakam Asatkalpartakam Bhasate Sakshat Tattvamasiti Veda Vachasa Yogodayatya Yes Sakshat Karanat Bhavenna Punaravrittir Bhavambo Nidhau Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye Nana Chindra Gatodara Stitamaha Deepa Prabha Bhaswaram Jnanam Yasya Tu Chakshuradi Karanadvara Vahispandate Janamiti Tameva Bhantam Anubhate Tat Samastam Jagat Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye Deham Pranam Apindriyani Apichalan Buddhim Cha Shunyam Viduhu Sri Balanda Jadopamasthamiti Pranta Vrishambadinaha Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Maha Vyamoha Sambharine Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye Rahu Grasta Divakare Dusadrisho Maya Samachhadanat Sanmatra Karanopasamharitu Yogutsu Sufta Puman Pragaswab Samiti Prabodha Samaye Yah Pratyabhigyayate Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye Balyadishvapi Jagridadishu Tata Sarvasvavastasvapi Vyavrittasvan Vartamana Mahamityantasvarantam Sada Swatmanam prakatīkaroti bhajatam yo mudraya bhadraya tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye namaidam. Shri Dakshinamurtaye Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya Swaswami Sambandhatah Sishyacharya Tathaiva Pitruputradhyatmana Bhedatah Swapne Jagrati Vayesha Purusho Maya Paribhramitah Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Bhurambham Senalo Nilombaram Ahartatho Himam Sukuman Ityabhati Characharatmakamidam Yasyaiva Murtyashtakam Nanyat Kinchana Vidyate Vimrashatam Yasmat Parasmat Vibhoho Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Sarvatmattvamiti Sutikritamidam Yasmanamushvinstave Tenasya Shravanat Tadartamananat Dhyanatcha Sankirtanat Sarvatmatva Mahavibhuti Sahitam Syadishwaratvam Swataha Siddhyetat Punarashtadha Parinatam Cha Aishwaryamupyahatam Siddhyetat Punarashtadha Parinatam Cha Aishwaryamupyahatam. We will chant Gita Dhyan. I'm having a little difficulty chanting today, so I'll be chanting the one verse of Gita Dhyan. We'll chant only the first verse. Parthaya pratibodhitam bhagavata Narayanena swayam Vyasena gratitam puranam Vina madhye mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanu Sandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini. We go into chapter 4 of the Gita. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Atat Chaturdhyodhyayah Jnana Sannyasa Yogaha. That's the name of the chapter. Chapter 4. Jnana Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Okay, we'll chant from verse number 18. Karmanyah karmayah pasyet akarmani cha karmayah sabuddhiman manushyeshu sayukta krishna karma kriti. He is the accomplished one. Saha Krishna karma kriti. He is a truly accomplished one. One who is a yukta. One who is abiding in the knowledge. Yukta. Abiding in what knowledge? I, the Atma, does not function at all. By my mere presence, in my mere presence, the Anatma is as though enlivened. So looking at action from the paradigm of Atma, there is no action. When you look at the world from the paradigm of the Anatma, there is action, no action. In the Anatma, when you see physical inaction, there is some kind of background action happening all the time. You are sleeping, some functions, pancha prana, are functioning. Sapta dhatu are functioning. The memories are in a laya, but they are functioning. They are in a laya. The doctor in sleep is not a doctor. Laya. All your medical qualifications are in laya. When you wake up, it all comes up. So there is inaction, action. One who sees it, one who insightfully sees this, knows this, such a person is a buddhiman. And he is the one who is a truly accomplished one. Not the one who has tied himself to the results of the action, and based on the results of the action, he considers himself accomplished or not accomplished. I have got this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've got so many labels. Such a person may be an accomplished person in the field of Artha Kama, but in reality, he is not a truly accomplished person. We'll see that as we go on. Yes, yes, okay, verse number 19. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjita jnanagni dagda karmanam tamahuh panditam buddha tamahuh panditam buddha. Wise people call this person a pandita. Who is a pandita? One who is a kama sankalpa varjita, which we would have seen in the last session, as one who is free from the pressure built out of wanting to achieve something so that I feel better. As it is, I am not okay. When I look at myself as it is, I don't find myself okay. So I have to achieve something so that I feel better. It is an achievement, it's an acknowledgement, a recognition, a validation. Based on this, I feel better. If this is called a kama sankalpa, I do something so that I become better. I see myself as a better. I don't know whether I become a better person. This is a beautiful training. We are all in a rat race. Even if we win the rat race, we don't become a cat. We remain a rat. So, you want to feel better. It is not that you really become better. If you become better, it is great. So, when you're free from that tension, you're free from that kind of inner pressure, such a person is a kama sankalpa varjitaha. All his tensions, the inner pressures are in this knowledge that I am a whole being as it is. I lack nothing. In this knowledge, this tension as though get burnt. Okay, so that's verse number 19. We go to verse number 20. Verse number 20. What does it say? Kyaktva karma phala sangam nitya tripta nirashraya karmanya abhivrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. So he is a nitya tripta. Such a person, verse number 20, talks about kyaktva. Kyaktva means doesn't give up the action. Okay. Having given up the attachment to the result of an action. Not all results of the action. I want particular results out of certain actions. I have put some money somewhere. I expect the stock market to rise. If it rises to the level I want, oh my God, I'm happy about it. So I've attached myself to that result. Okay. So in that case, I am overcome by the tension of that action, by the tension associated with the result. Kyaktva, having given up the anxiety. In what? In knowledge. In the knowledge that there is no control over all situations. That is, somebody says, no, for all your money that you put in this institution, the graph has taken a downward drip. He says, what? So what? Yeah, so what comes from? The knowledge that the market is expected to behave. Yeah, hota hai. It's just happened like that. So, having given up that, the result of the action, he, as though never performs the action, he says, he does not perform an action. Meaning, it is like I'm acting on stage. In the background, the knowledge that I am only playing a role. I am not the role, is constantly in my background. What action am I performing? This person is shooting somebody. Let's say we are having the Jallianwala Bagh movie. And somebody is playing General O'Dyer. General Dyer? Yeah, General Dyer. But he's like, Managoli. Is he actually killing? So even as he's performing an action, in the knowledge that he's only playing a role, he is not performing at all. Okay? Such a person is not performing any role at all. Such a person is a Nitya Tripta. Nitya Tripta means take a look. So Nitya Tripta means one. Tripta means satisfied one. Now, how is your and our satisfaction based on your satisfaction, my satisfaction? It's based on the completion, the successful completion of a project or something in hands of something when I get done. Then the person says, Tripti, I'm satisfied. But suppose I'm not satisfied, not up to the mark. These things comes. So these are based on the outcome of the action. We have seen in the past, outcome can be as expected, more than what expected, less than what expected, right? The opposite. If it is expected and more than expected, I am a tripta. If it is less than expected or right the opposite, I am an atripta. This person is free from the hold of all these four expectations. Such a person is a Nitya Tripta. Careful. Can you and I be Nitya Tripta? It says it is not that you can be, you are Nitya Tripta. While playing a role, there can be some disappointments that hit the system, that hit his body. There can be some feeling of dissatisfaction in the antakarana. Suppose at that point you say, no, because of these feelings I am an atripta. They are all called grahastha seekers. You have what is called an immediate thought process, a deliberate thought process, which says, I acknowledge that there is a disappointment. This is called Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasana. You are making this work for you. Nitya Tripta. I acknowledge that there is an element of dissatisfaction because I did not get the results I expected. Perfectly okay. But it should not remain in the system for long. It should not sink its teeth and drive you miserable. It's called Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasana, which can do, it's wonderful. Okay? Nitya Tripta, Nirashrayaha, he doesn't lean emotionally on anything. I don't lean for my emotional well-being on objects, people, events, validations, acknowledgements, responses. For my emotional well-being, I don't lean on these. Please understand, once again, when somebody appreciates me, I am not indifferent. So there are some people who like the opposite. Arey, aapne bahut acha gaya. You sang so well. No, sir, I didn't sing that well. Then am I a fool to have appreciated it? So I go and tell her, why you sing so well? Yeah. And then he is insulting my intelligence. So when somebody appreciates you, you say, yes, thank you very much. You don't even have to say, you don't have to do any of these hypocritical actions. Thank you very much. What is the inner chatter? I am grateful that this action of mine has been appreciated. Okay. What is Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasana? Tomorrow when somebody doesn't give you the same kind of applause, you don't say, you can possibly say, perhaps I didn't sing that well today. But to say, it happens. I've seen so many. This is a problem because of this new device, this two-finger device. In future, children are going to be born like this. As they are born, they will do this. Because of this device, what happens? There is a group in which everybody posts songs. Nobody listens to another fellow's songs. He only looks at how many people have listened to his song and how many people have appreciated. And suppose I put there, you could have perhaps hit this higher note. I become his enemy. He sends me up appreciate. He nahi karte humko. You don't appreciate me at all. There's one fellow who doesn't get so much appreciation. Nobody appreciates me. What is this person? Emotionally leaning on people putting a thumbs up sign or a this sign. 4 stars, 5 stars. Kya zindagi hai yaar? You don't even know whether he really appreciates. There are some people who will put, good for everybody. There are organizations in which we have a confidential report and appraisals. The 4 or 5 categories. 5th one, highest will be exception. The last one will be not up to the let's say poor. Okay. In between there are 3. So if you put exceptional or very poor, you have to write a comment. So I had a boss who will never put exceptional for anybody. He will put good for everybody. Or the next one, the 3rd one. He will put either 2 or 3. I once asked him, why do you do? He said, you put exceptional means I have to explain why he's exceptional there. Next year, if the exceptional comes down to good, I will have to explain why didn't I motivate him to remain exceptional. Who will get into this jhamela? He puts good for everybody. So like that, there are some people who will put good for everybody. Now this person has another problem. He considers himself, these are real life situations that happened within the last 2 days. He considers himself to be a very good singer. There's another person who is not so good a singer and the world knows it. It's not that nobody knows. He knows that he is no good a singer. The world knows he is no good a singer. Both of them have good ratings. Okay. The poor singer, usko kuch nahi hua, lekin अच्छे singer ko khal gayi. He feels I have been rated with that fellow. No one really appreciates me. Everybody puts up perfunctory good. You are singing in the evening for a little fun for about 2 hours. You have converted into an emotionally draining exercise. This happens when not very WhatsApp group. Just imagine what you can do in your life. What kind of mess you can make in your life. Nobody appreciates, a person doesn't smile. The responses were not like it was when we married. How can you have the same kind of responses every day? You may as well have married a robot. You didn't smile at me. You didn't laugh at my joke. Oh my God, that's the biggest joke. Hey, why don't you imagine that person needs a little space? You are emotionally drained because of ashray. Such a person is a nirash. I don't have to be a monk or to be a super enlightened person for that. I just have to understand the limitation of depending upon others for acknowledgement. I am reasonably enough. Okay? So such a person, then he functions without the pressure of getting this particular result. Such a person is a nityatrupta, nirashrayaha, and the karma and the results of the karma don't drag him down. He, even though performs an action, even though all the while busy, as though is not performing at all. Such a person is a nityatripta, nirashrayaha, very beautifully explained by who else? Swamiji. He says, I am prepared for success, no doubt. So I don't prepare for failure. But I am equally well prepared for the opposite. My preparation is for being independent of both success and failure. Such a person is a Nitya Tripta Nirashaya. Such a person is a Nitya Tripta Nirashraya. Can relate to it. We should be able to relate to every word that we are reading, every word that we are studying. What you are listening is Shravana. What you are reflecting is Manana. When I say you, when you convert it to I, he is a Nitya Tripta. He is a Nirashraya. You say, I am a Nitya Tripta. I am a Nirashraya. It's Mananam. And then you say, this is how, in these situations, I am a Nitya Tripta. In these situations, I am a Nirashraya. You are doing Vyavahara Rupa Nididhyasa. You are relating, I won't say practicing it. No practice. You are relating. There are so many situations which you have taken very mature. A next door neighbor's problem, how mature you are. You are a Nitya Tripta, Nirashraya, monk. When it comes to your problem, nunk. Okay. So let's go further. Let's look at verse number 21. In verse number 20, the teacher talked about you and me, Grahastha seekers. Why seekers? Let's call ourselves Grahastha Yani. We know a lot of things. We know a lot of things. Which may cloud aata. Some clouds cover me occasionally. See, in the initial periods, when I was doing the first few talks, 1 to 10 or something, some listeners who came in later said, you talk too much in Tamil. So many of us are finding it difficult to understand. So I switched to English for a long time. Now some people call me and say, you're talking too much Hindi. So please understand, I'm not a linguist, jingoist or anything like that. This happens. Some expressions come out freely. So let's read verse number 21. Verse number 21 is directed towards a sannyasi. These verses from 18 to 24, they glorify this attitude. 19, 20, 22, 23, 24. They talk about a grahastha, you are in my lifestyle. And in 21, the teacher highlights a sannyasi. What is the reason? Because Arjun in the beginning said, I want to go away. I can't fight. I can't kill my people. It is dukkha, I'm going. So he also says, what does it mean? He says, you wanted to go? Go where? Become a sannyasi. So understand what is the life of a sannyasi. So to highlight that, Krishna says in verse number 21, Nirashiyata chittatma, Nirashiyata chittatma, Tyakta sarva parigraha, Tyakta sarva parigraha, Shariram kevalam karma, Shariram kevalam karma, Kurvanapnoti kilbisham, Kurvanapnoti kilbisham. All verse. Nirashiyata chittatma, Tyakta sarva parigraha, Shariram kevalam karma, Kurvannapnoti kilbisham, Kurvannapnoti kilbisham. Okay. So he says, very important. But all these verses are very, very, all verses are important. But these are special significance. Okay. This verse begins with a small opening comment. It says, if you don't solve problems at the root level, the problems will never ever get solved. We try to solve the symptoms, never solve the problem at the root level. I have dukkha. So what do? Symptom. I change the external. There is some sukha. Again dukkha. Again some external. Again dukkha. Again some external. Itre mein gone. Life is gone. As long as you keep changing, okay, the external, outside, the problems will continue. The problem is not outside, the problem is here. You lost the keys somewhere, you search for it elsewhere. You will never get the keys. As the problem is inside, you have to solve the problem internally. How do I change the problem internally? How do I address the problem internally? Have true knowledge about yourself, Atma, and about the objects, Anatma. The reality behind Atma, the reality behind Anatma. This is called being alive to realities. Unless you are alive to realities, the problem of dukkha will never be solved. If you are alive to reality, don't say headache will go away. Dukkham coming out of headache will go away. So, the problem of shoka, dukkha, shoka, moha, this will go away only when you are alive to realities. Realities. What is absolute? What is vyavahara? It is like saying, I had a dream. In that dream, I achieved almost everything. And tomorrow the results are going to be announced and I'm going to get a great accomplishment. My dream breaks. Or worry about, only if only the results had been announced, I would have been the first prize winner. What happens when you are alive to the reality? You can giggle. You can tell your partner, I had a great dream. If only, they were waiting for announcement when my dream broke. I was doing this when my dream broke. It happens to pleasant situation, unpleasant situation also. Oh my God, I missed the train. I was running behind the train. Then what happened when I woke up? I was also saying, somebody once said, I was, I dreamt that I am tasting a newly cooked recipe, a newly cooked, item. Breakfast item. And this is what happened. I woke up and found out the pillow cover gone. So, said in jail, what happens? What you don't miss your dream, do you? I dreamt this, I feel sad. That reality you have resolved. The same way, when you're aware of the realities, dukkha doesn't grip you. Dukkha doesn't stay on you for long. Okay? And he is a yata chittatma. Who is a yata chittatma? Okay? He is called a yata chittatma. Yata chittatma. One who has mastered the body-mind-sense complex by sadhana. Now look, we are talking about sannyasis now. Okay, we are not talking about grahasthas. We are talking about sannyasis. One who has mastered the body-mind-sense complex by sadhana. Who is a sannyasi? One who has given up the comforts of life. Let me briefly explain to you how the sannyasi process is done. If I must have told you in the past, I repeat. The teacher finalizes it on such and such a day, you will be initiated into sannyasa. So for about a week or 3-4 days before that, you do a lot of karma. homa, this karma, that karma. Suppose your parents are gone, they are not there. Then you do final Shraddha for them. If they are there, you hand over the power of attorney to the next of kin to do. You can't do Shraddha for a person who is alive. Parents are there, I am taking sannyasa. I have to give it to the next of kin. If I am the one who is authorized to do, I have to give it to the next of kin to do the. No, sir. No, there is another important ritual. It is called Atma Pinda. You do Shraddha for this BMS complex. All the mantras that are chanted for a dead person are chanted for this Atma Pinda. After the body falls, the Sukshma Sharira has to go somewhere. I do advance for all that. That's also done. Atma Pindam is done. And the person goes into fasting for so many hours. And he discards his old dresses, everything, and he wears a single cloth or something. And he stays in the hut meant for the purpose, a separate hut. Stays there a whole night chanting certain mantras, which the Guru has initiated. He is left with 3 strands of hair. The next day, early morning, not everybody is allowed to see these ritual. Only other sannyasis are allowed to see this ritual. Other sannyasis or other potential sannyasis, people who are like to take sannyasa in the next few years, are allowed to see this ritual. The Guru takes him into a body of water, and if he is a Brahmana, he first cuts the cord and throws it away. Then the Guru pulls off the 3 strands of hair and throws it away. And then he says, take off your clothes and throw it away. So standing in water, absolutely with nothing, he gives what is called Abhaya Pradhanam. He tells, oh Brahma, I am not competing with you. I don't want to become Brahmaji. Oh Indra, I am not competing with you. Oh Vayu, I am not competing with you. Oh Yamaraja, I am not competing with you. You tell the Devas, I am not competing with you. Then you say, oh Jagat, I am not competing with you. You know, a sannyasi is not supposed to have a vote. You can't be in Rishikesh and say, I am a sannyasi and put all votes for the party you like. A sannyasi is not supposed to have voting rights. You're not supposed to have a bank account. You are supposed to give up all the sadhana you learnt. One Swami I know was an excellent percussionist, and now he tells he's given up here. This is called, he has Tyakta Sarva Parigrava. He has given up everything, possessions, skills, family. Everything is given up. Comforts, everything given up. And after the whole thing is over, he gives up his name as well. Then the Guru gives him a cloth and he says, wear this cloth for the sake of Vyavahara, and hereafter you will be called this. Some Ananda. He is given the name. Suppose this person says, I would like to be called by this Ananda. Then the Guru says, you are not ready for sannyasa, go back, do some more sadhana. Because you are attached to the name now. I want to be known by some Ananda. You want still have a little value for it. Sarva Pari, you have to give up everything. Sarva Parigraha. It has to be given up. Tyaktva. You have to give it up. And sannyasi. So before doing this, you know how many years of preparation is necessary? Thereafter, everything. You own nothing. You don't have an income. You have to travel by train. Don't expect the Indian Railway to say you're a sannyasi allowed to prove. Maybe it would be wonderful if the Indian Railways can do that. If you are a sannyasi, then what would happen? No, in India, everybody would wear a sannyasi dress and say, I am a sannyasi. The railway will lose revenue. So a sannyasi did not need a passport in those days. He could walk into any kingdom. In the same respect, the kingdoms opened their doors for the foreign missionaries who came in, all those gowned characters. I don't know why those fellows came wearing gowns. All the gowned characters came in, they used this privilege and went about their missionary activity. And what was that? Polluting your mind. Look at the trusts that people had on a sannyasi. Even today, Sita opened the doors for a sannyasi. Ahalya allowed the sannyasi to come. The sannyasi in Gautama to come. So, he is a person who owns nothing. And if you see some of these, if you had been to Kanchipuram and you've seen the life of the Kanchi Mohan who used to be there, he lived to be 99 years, his body was 99 years. You would see the kind of sarva parigraha. There are stories. For 3 continuous days, the cook served him a special preparation of a side dish. The 4th day, he stopped eating that. The cook was mollified. He said, have I done something, He didn't touch that side dish at all for another 7 days. He came and said, Guruji, what have I done? Have I done something wrong? He said, no, you have done nothing. I have done something wrong. He says, I haven't developed a taste for the way you prepared this. So I took a couple of extra helpings. You noticed it and started preparing the same dish for me every day. And then word will go around that I like that. And everybody will get into pressure to make, feed my taste buds. I am a sannyasi who is not supposed to have taste and you are feeding the taste bud. So, he is a person, sarva parigraha. Such a person is okay. So, he is a yata chittatma. We have to do a small comparison between the sannyasa ashrama and the grahastha ashrama here. The grahastha ashrama, and then, in the sannyasa ashrama, you should not only be mentally fit, you should also be physically fit to rough it out. See, our Swamiji used to say, in Rishikesh, all these sannyasis live there. Many people, rich people, they run what is called a bhandara. Bhandara is something like a campsite. A tent will be put up. Morning, evening. They will serve 2 rotis and dal in the morning. In the evening, dal and 2 rotis. That's the only change. 2 big rotis and dal on top of it. 2 rotis are no chai, nothing at all. This is given to the sadhus for free. And the sadhu has to go stand in a queue. Take 2 rotis, dal, eat that and come home. He stays in a grass hut or some kind of hut. In fact, my Swamiji used to say that near his hut, there used to be, cobra. He is not the cobra, earthworm size cobra. One day when he was returning from a bandara, he saw something moving across and he stopped there. He said it kept moving. So long it was. In the darkness, you have to live with all these creatures. And one day he wakes up and he says, the cobra is on there, waiting on top there. Very often you do that, the cobras run on the sides. You have to preserve your books or whatever notes in the rain. If you fall sick, there might not be anybody to even take you to a doctor. There is a lot of physical discomfort in a sannyasi's life. That's why sannyasi is not meant for everyone. In a grahastha ashrama, you don't have this problem. Somebody is there to serve food. Somebody is there to switch off the AC. Somebody is there to shut the door, leave you in peace, switch on this, switch on that, switch on this, that. But what is the problem of a grahastha ashrama? Responsibilities. Suppose today is your wife's birthday and you have a satsang and both of them clash. And if you give preference to satsang, you will be given a satsang at home after your satsang. So your responsibilities is bind you. Whereas in a sannyasi lifestyle, you don't have all these problems. He doesn't have to remember to send birthday greetings to everybody. He doesn't have to remember to send the right kind of emojis to people. You send the wrong emoji to the right person or right emoji to the wrong person, you had it. He doesn't have any of these problems. But he has one big problem, and that is the problem of insecurity. He is the one who has truly handed over his life to Ishvara. The trust in Ishvara is total. So that is a lifestyle available only in India. And such a person is respected. Voluntary poverty, frugality is respected. Such a person is a Nirashi. Nirashi Yata Chittatma. Yata Chittatma means by years and years of physical sadhana, he has overcome the demands of the body. Okay? Yata Chittatma. He has overcome that. And he has taken up a life of sannyasi. He is physically and mentally fit. Okay? And he has given up all his possessions. Give up everything. Do only kevalam shariram karma. Do what is required to keep the body intact. Give up everything. So I have given up bathing. You have to clean yourself. You have to clean yourself. Other things you have to do. You have to look for food for your hunger. But when you look for food for your hunger, you don't say, no, today dal roti, same dal roti every day. Why don't you? I am from South India. Why don't you make upma for me today? Somebody may add onion, garlic in your food. You will have to handle that as well. I personally seen it happen. I and my Swamiji were sitting next to each other. Somebody served us food and they had a lot of onion and garlic. He asked me, एक चीज बताओ, इसमें रामास्वामी कंदसा में है? Kanda in Bombay is onion. Ramaswamy is garlic. I said, Swami ji, इसमें रामास्वामी कंदस्वामी के अलावा कुछ है ही नहीं. Then he said, एक काम करो यार, रामास्वामी कंदस्वामी कुछ तुम खा लो, मुझको ग्रेवी दे दो. I said, my God, what a soul. He says, उनको बताओ नहीं यार, दुखी हो जाएंगे. They'll feel sad if you told them that the food is not something that Swamiji eats. He says, next time when they invite you, tell them that Swamiji doesn't eat all these things. You tell them next time. Now, only do things for the sake of keeping the body and soul together. Do service for the body. What is basic requirement for the body? He does that. And such a person, what happens to him? If his action does not accrue papa punya karma. He only does something for his maintenance. So the actions do not produce results which will bind you. Grahastha has to do things. No, the agenda is not just keeping body soul together. The agenda is different. He has to go stand in the queue for daughter's admission, talk to people and say, my daughter wants medical college admission, ask for influence. Now, this is the Grahastha who's doing jnani has perhaps more influence. So if you do all that, incurs, papa punyam will accrue. But this person does not have papa punyam accrual at all. Such a person is called a sannyasi. Sannyasa jnani. This lifestyle is given to you in between to be told that, remember, for the sake of moksha, you can adopt either of these lifestyles. You can become a grahastha ashrama jnani and still get moksha. You can become a sannyasa ashrama jnani, sannyasa ashrama jnani, and yet get moksha. Either way, you can get moksha. The lifestyle doesn't determine moksha. Your commitment determines moksha. Your shravana manana nididhyasana, unflinching commitment to self-knowledge gets you moksha. Not the kind of lifestyle that you live. That doesn't guarantee you moksha. That's what the teacher wants to write. Jnana karma sannyasi. Arjuna wanted to take on a life of a sannyasi. Krishna says, when you take on a life of the sannyasi, this is what a sannyasi involves. You are a prince. You have 3 or 4 wives. You have Draupadi, Then Subhadra, Ulupi, there was one Chitrangada, 4 wives he had. He used to be driving in chariots, very excellent clothes. He doesn't carry, somebody carries his bow and says, sir, your bow, sir, your arrows, sir. He'll stand like this and the teacher and the servants will tuck all those things and somebody will put his kritam and things like that. His armor is tied my feet. He said, you are used to being done seva to by people. And when you walk on the street, you say, and you want to become a sannyasi. And you will get a wrong time of attention. What will happen? They'll say, this was Arjun. Kon Arjun? Pandava prince. Why is he here? He ran away from the war and came. Then you will get wrong attention. It's not easy. Understand that. So many of us have this thing, we have. I have gone to our Swamiji. Swamiji, can I take sannyasa? Either it is not for you. Quite simple. Either it is not for you. I didn't dare ask for why, but we understand when I studied all this. It is not for you. Forget it. The Guru knows who is fit for sannyasa. So he is highlighting the sannyasa lifestyle. Let's go to verse number 22. Verse number 22 is for both. Okay. Verse number 20. Verse number 22 is for both. He says, Yadricha labha santushtaha Yadricha labha santushtaha Dvandvatito vimatsaraha Dvandvatito vimatsaraha Samasiddhava siddhau cha Samasiddhava siddhau cha Kritvapi na nibadhyate Kritvapi na nibadhyate. All verse. Yadrichhalabha santushtaha Dvandvatito vimatsaraha Samasiddhava siddhau cha Kritvapi na nibadhyate. Verse number 22. It is applicable for both sannyasi and grihasthas. But the teacher highlights more for grihasthas because of us, tell me so many people and nobody is a sannyasi. All of us are grihasthas. And in a vast majority of the classes, predominantly, I rarely find a sannyasi there. All of us are grihasthas. So the teacher, Swami Dayanandji and some of his students have made this. Adi Shankara has given a lot of things for sannyasi. We will look at it sometime. But he says, look at it from the grihastha angle. So he says it can be recommended, look at it from both angles. But the teacher says, I recommend it, relate to it from grihastha angle. Don't look at it, relate to it from grihastha angle. Because grihasthas constitute a very, very large percentage. Okay. Yadricha labha santushtaha. He is satisfied with whatever happens in his life. You have to understand this carefully. Labha santushta. Yadricha. Whatever comes, labha, alabha, I am happy about it. Has to be understood very, very carefully. All your events in life, for you to relate, you have to be very, very careful. All events in life have two elements. One element is your effort. The other element is the effort of, I wouldn't call it effort, is the influence of Desha, Kala. Okay. So many factors influence the end result of your action. Okay. All the end result, even the action itself, is not 100% under your control. They're all busy. They're all sat down for satsanga. Camera doesn't work, does not matter. Microphone doesn't work. What will we do? We'll do class in Mauna Vyakhyana. Internet connection goes. What do we do? Children come. Child comes, walks in, walks out. What do you tell the child? Go get lost. The satsanga, one element is under control. There are so many elements which are not under your control. This is the first reality you have to be alive to. Then yadricha labha santushta will certainly become so relatable. Yadricha labha santushta. So, but then this yadricha labha santushta has two extremes. One extreme is a fellow will say, no, I don't agree, fellow. No, man. Now, suppose a fellow is a very rich fellow or a very powerful fellow who has got a lot of influence and things like that. I don't agree. I can do anything I want. The power coming out of controlling people and things like that. I can do it. I order my future. What happened once I was a very successful businessman. Very successful man. He called me for his 80th birthday, I think. Yeah, 80th birthday or something. I went there. I said, I pray that you have provided employment for so many people. You have created wealth for the nation. You have done so much. I pray that you live up to be 100. He said, you know something, Mohan? I have decided I will live up to be. I was having a juice or something. I found it very difficult. I would have spilled it on me. This is one extreme. I have decided I will live up to be 100. What do you call this fellow? Upper story. Upper story. The fellow died when he was 80. So this is one extreme. I decide what I do. The arrogance gets into the system. His own brother died. And the family, they were asked, what is to be done, how many days holiday, how many days morning. He says, no. We can't do 13-day, 14-day, 16-day morning. Company ka kya hoga? 1 day morning is enough. All of you, family members, come back to work on day 2. I decide what is to be done. What do you do with these fellows? This is one extreme. Then the other extreme. Anyway, nothing is going in my hand, so I will do nothing. This is the other extreme. One extreme is arrogance. The other extreme is fatalist. Both are very, very dangerous. And this is a problem with this verse. If you are not careful, you will interpret it like this. Especially when you have faced a series of reverses. You tend to interpret it in the fatalistic style. And if you see a lot of successes, you will interpret it in the other extreme. Extremist side, nice way now. Arrogant side. Both are extreme. He only says, the teacher only says, Gita says both extremes are wrong. The right attitude. What is the attitude? How do I understand this? How do I relate to this? I am a significant contributing factor. I have to write the exam. I have to do Shravana Manana. One fellow told me, sir, if I am entitled to get, Guru will come. What will you do to the Guru? Do Namaskara and fall asleep. You have to take initiative for Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, regularity, taking notes, relating, applying it to your life. I am a significant contributor. I am a very powerful and significant contributor with regard to my future. Please remember this. When you remember this, the future you want, the destiny you want will manifest itself. Remember this very, very strongly. I am a significant and powerful contributor to my future. Next step, help me, Ishara, because there are factors which are not under my control. I acknowledge the fact that I cannot totally control the future. I cannot totally decide the future. I can't decide what I am going to do next Friday. I can't decide. I cannot totally decide my future. I can, however, certainly influence it. This is my understanding. This is the meaning of yadricha labha santushta. If this understanding is there, this will work. Otherwise, it won't work. Otherwise, we call it in dry Vedanta. Good for quoting. If you are a good speaker and in all your various club gatherings, post dinner, you can quote all this. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Neither you understand nor that fellow understands. Everybody claps and goes. Somebody will drop you home and say, sorry, you spoke beautifully. And that fellow will remember next year that he spoke beautifully. In between, what happened? Relate. I certainly influence. Okay. There are numerous factors which affect the end result. Why end result? Even action. An end result. Let me show you something. Simple mask. What happens if this gives way? The mask begins MA, SK is gone. You have to hold it up for the rest of it. What is the guarantee that it will stick on? Simple mask. There was a person I know who called me 2 years ago and said, sir, I've got an offer and I'm going to go to this place, Europe. Europe mein settle hona hai. So 2022, I am settling, sir. I said, wonderful, very good. I'm so happy for you. And I met him sometime last week. I said, what are you doing here, man? It's the Ukraine war, no, sir. So my Europe trip is postponed. Pandemic, Europe trip postponed. Because of pandemic, parents couldn't attend their son's wedding. Parents in India had booked their tickets. No. So there are so many external factors. It can be a simple thing like the weather. It can be a simple thing like a sneezing bout. Okay. So weather, war somewhere, recession somewhere, oil problem somewhere. Anything can affect. Pandemic, anything can influence. And you have, if they say, they're very beautiful, my Swamiji says, you can't pluck a flower without disturbing a star. Everything is interconnected, he says. Everything is interconnected. The whole world is interconnected. Okay? We, the Vedic culture, have put all these factors into a big basket, big bag. You know what's it called? Bhagwan. Ishvara Anugraha. Or one more word, my Prarabdha. Looking at it from my angle, whatever is in store for me, I will get. But I am a significant contributor. Whatever is in store for me, I will get. I am a significant guru. If Ishvara wills, I will get. Hand is this way or this way. If I am destined, I will get. If I am destined, Ishvara will give. What an attitude. Yadricha labha santushta. My Guruji used to say, put it in Bhagwan's briefcase. समझिए बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, अरे भगवान के ब्रीफकेस में डाल, अपने आप ठीक हो जाएगा. So, Ishvara Prarabdha. I do my best. And some people say, do your best and prepare for the worst. Yeah, I have. People fool around with all these and be prepared for the worst. I do my best to explain the whole thing to you, and I expect be prepared for the worst. None of you will understand. It doesn't make sense at all. Just because somebody has to quote, they will quote. All rich people will quote you. Money doesn't give happiness. So I quote. Make a lot of money before making all these quotes. Or one more thing, let me find it out for myself. So all these fellows have nothing to do, and then after the coming of a couple of social media platforms, one is called Twitter, the other is what is called some Facebook. Anything and everything people like. I do my best and prepare myself to accept any result. Labha santushta, alabha santushta. Meaning, it is not that I am not disappointed. I don't resent or resist the result. I shouldn't have put it. I shouldn't have put money there. Oh my God, I deserve to be beaten. I deserve to be thrashed. I don't resent it. Labha santushta, alabha santushta. Being, I did this, this is the result. It is not up to my standards. There is disappointment. Total objectivity. Hey, satisfying. Good. Total objectivity. Perhaps I should put in more effort. Total objectivity. Yadricha lava santushta is objectivity in action. Yadricha, whatever happens, karma phala is accepted. Whatever happens, okay, happens or does not happen is acceptable to me. There is no inner resistance or resentment. There is disappointment. Perfectly okay, objective. Mind hai. Nice song, you know, Dil hai kya manta nahi. A good song. If you change it to say, Dil hai kya manta hi nahi, then there's a problem. Dil hai kya manta nahi, acknowledge. Dil hai kya manta hi nahi, you don't have yadricha lava santushta. This case came to me now. My Guruji didn't tell me. So we can work for improvement. But we have to keep in mind that the results can be different. The results can be different for different people. My 100 rupees would have got me 110. The other fellow's 100 would have got him 1010. Therefore, this person is free from dvandva atita. Dvandva means pairs of opposites. He recognizes that there could be pairs of opposites. There could be different results for different people. Doesn't create vimatsara. I'm jealous of that fellow. I hate this person. Or I tell my always lucky fellow, he always has the luck of the draw. You're always lucky. I struggled, I didn't get, you got. Vimatsara. I'll give you the word. Next week we'll go details, a little more detail. The wonderful words. Vimatsara, such a person, siddha, asiddha, sama. He is balanced in accomplishment and in the not so much accomplished result. Siddha, asiddha, sama. Kritva api. Even though fully involved in action, he is not bogged down by action. He is not bogged down. For him, it's a game, not a struggle. It's a game. Okay, very beautiful words. Meaning of going beyond opposites. Dvandva atita, making the pairs of opposites incapable of disturbing your composure. I can succeed, I can fail. They cannot disturb my composure. Disappointment is it. It is called FIR management. The frequency, the intensity of the disturbances in the required time are all managed. I can relate to it so beautifully. Life means opposites. Life means pairs of opposites. I don't have to be absolutely equal. I need to learn to handle it. As a grahastha, if I learn to handle it, I am free. You cannot stop a pair of opposites, but you can be free internally. You can enjoy a certain inner freedom. Then inner freedom immediately strikes me. What is it? Very often what happens is device of yours. You will want to save a video. It will say no space. Then you will have to go back and say, you look about 900 old pictures there. You don't know what to delete. So you want to go and buy old new storage space. As it is muck, you want to buy more space for muck. Muck here and you want to buy more space. The only way the muck will go is don't allow it to grip you. And they say, in WhatsApp there is a feature, don't save it on my disk. And regularly keep cleaning it up. Like that, clean up the muck. Let it save. So 5 minutes you delete all. Somebody says, what happened to the file? Delete it. I don't carry my old pictures. Why should I carry yours? This is a problem. You have deleted my picture. I have deleted my picture first. Sorry. So, Tadvatita Vimatsaraha Samasiddhau Siddha Asiddhau Cha Kirtva Api, even after he does, Na Tibadyate. The wonderful verse. And I feel like not stopping here today at all. It's a wonderful verse. We will continue in our next session. Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Yayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samstha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalinim Desho Yam Kshobarahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Prityorma Amritangamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Shri Guru Bhyo Hari Om Satgurnath Maharaj ki Jai Swami Dayananda Maharaj ki Jai Sab Santon ki Jai Bajrang Bali ki Jai Pavan Putra Hanuman ki Jai. Thank you very much. Ishwara Nandra Vikram. Oh.